We have other things in common, which will drive our listeners even more insane. We're both history buffs, and then when you get into the Civil War, it can get a little intense. Was that a passion when you were young?
So I grew up in Atlanta, and it's just kind of around you a lot. Like when you grow up in a place like Atlanta, there were so many markers, and we would literally find musket balls like in the yard, or like weird artifacts here and there. Battles all over the place, and my dad had a whole shelf of books on Civil War history, and it just was it was a most history about conflict, about wars, was so abstract. But for some reason, the Civil War being in the South, it was like I could read about places that I knew, like places that I had visited, or places where I had like gone to summer camp, or different, and these battles were just wild. And it's just, as I got older and understood the context more, like it's such a profoundly tragic war on so many levels.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's just not a lot of things quite like it in the history of.
Well, also at the time, especially, no one had ever seen a war like that before. I mean, Europeans, people from Britain and France were coming over just to observe because.
Is that true?
Oh yeah, they were, because. War on this scale, using what at the time was this new technology, relatively new technology. Things had become so sophisticated, and there were ironclads, and massive shells are being invented, and the armies are huge. The armies are just massive. The Army of Northern Virginia is huge. The Northern Army is massive, Army of the Potomac, and it's so nothing like that had happened before. And then on that scale, and so obviously, as you know, the casualties were huge. And I would just think, growing up in the South, I was always fascinated by the South, and of course, I grew up in Massachusetts, so we had Revolutionary War stuff. I could go out to Lexington and Concord, and
I feel it there too. My sister lives in your hometown of Brookline now, and it's there. It feels so visceral. The Revolutionary War feels so present there. I don't know. Maybe you and I just have like a antenna for it.
It's funny, if you grew up in Massachusetts, that's the war you talk about. But if you go down south, and I've driven around Georgia, you can pass through Andersonville and know that, like, there was shortly after my marriage, I tried to take my wife on I took my wife on a trip through Georgia, and I kept saying, and we visited all these Civil War sites. And then I said, now we're off to Andersonville. And she said, what's that? And I said, it's the prisoner of war camp where tens of thousands of people died of diarrhea.
And you're still married?
Yeah. And trust me, that did not happen. She said, no, we're not doing that. And I said, but I'm telling you, we've got to go.
And you couldn't even say dysentery. You had to say diarrhea.
I had to say diarrhea. And then she said, no, we're going back to Atlanta. We've seen the other stuff. I've been a good sport, but we're not looking at the diarrhea fields. And so we went back, and this is my fun story. We pull into Atlanta, and we go into our hotel, and we're sitting in the lobby of the hotel, and a waiter comes over and hands us each an appletini in these new sliced glasses. And we didn't order these. And we said, we didn't order these appletinis. And he went, compliments of Mr. Barkley. And Charles Barkley was at the bar. And I had never had an appletini before, but I did go up to him and say, Sir Charles, why the appletini? He said, you look like a guy who would drink an appletini. Needless to say, I love Atlanta. I really do. It's fantastic.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Cedric the Entertainer, and I feel short and indifferent, sometimes angry about being Conan's friend.
Let's go through those. Was the first one short?
Yes. I was so surprised at how tall you were the first time I met you.
I know. It just shocked people.
You just was like, what?
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be.
No, also, people act like I've been lying to them. I never say anything about my height, but they act like, no, you came across as so small on television, so small-minded and petty.
I think you had really big desk when you think about it.
Yes, I did.
You made a choice of being in the little chair for Thanksgiving.
All right. Well, I'm so glad you're here because we have a lot to talk about. First of all, you're a genius because you named yourself Cedric the Entertainer.
Man.
That is the smartest move anyone's made in the history of show business because no one can question it. It's like, no, it's on my tax return. I am the Entertainer.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. You know what? And it actually kind of happened, though. It was weird. It was weird because another dude called me that first. And it was only because I didn't have a lot of jokes. I used to sing a lot and do poetry on stage, anything I could do to fill up the time. And so I just told dude, don't call me a comedian, call me an entertainer. And that's how that happened. So, and I just kept the name from there. But then, like, when I first got to Hollywood, they definitely wanted me to change that. That was like, all the agents is like, no, go by your government name, Cedric Schaefer. No, it's not. It's not Schaefer, guys.
I tagged you for a Schaefer. The minute you walked in, I tagged you for a Schaefer. I'm like, this guy's Jewish. I know it.
It's already been a hard time finding my dad as it is, but that would have been even more of a challenge.
Also, I love,
sure, Mom?
I love, you go to these people for creative advice, and their advice is, use your government name.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
I think so. I wonder what Bono would do,
Yeah, Patty O'Malley.
Yeah,
who wants
that's
to hear,
great.
No one wants to hear that guy.
I want to hear a rock dude sing, hey, Patty.
Give us another one.
Yeah, give us another one. Sing about the Joshua tree. But really, like when you're out there and bored and living there in a tent, that version.
Yeah. You, thing is, you are hilariously funny. First time I saw you, and you really came to my notice was, and I want to go back before that, but Kings of Comedy is when I felt like, who is this guy? Yeah. And I didn't know. And I thought that was such a great film because it featured you all so brilliantly. It showed that you still are the Kings of Comedy. It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing.
Man, no, that was such a unique time.
What year was that? Was that late 90s or early 2000s?
Early 2000s.
Okay.
We started the tour in the late 90s. It was 98 was the first dates, but we didn't shoot the movie until like 01, right at the end of 2000 to 01, right in there. And so, fun time, man. Comedy was growing. The idea that shows like Def Comedy Jam had started to really put like black comedians in the forefront of like just having an audience that was our very own. So, when by putting us all together, we were able to do arenas. And there was a few people that had done, of course, Dice and Eddie Murphy. I think Martin had done arena tours, but nobody kind of did it like this, like Coachella, like you got a lot of your favorites there at one night, and so that was fun. That was rock star stuff, man. We had a blast on that tour.
I also think it blew up awareness that needed to happen. It blew up awareness in a really beautiful way that you guys are a force. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You weren't trying to get other people into the tent. You were saying, fuck that. We don't need that.
Yeah.
This is what we do. We're hilarious. And look at this whole world that follows us. And you should be here too. I remember thinking, Jesus Christ, these guys are a phenomenon.
Yeah, I think, you're right. And I think that was really what became a catalyst to opening up. Of course we had like, the networks with like WB and UPN starting to, like create shows for, like predominantly African-American families. But it definitely opened up this idea like comedy is not like the evening at the Improv way, which was the only way you can get on television, right? If back then you do evening at the Improv and try to get picked to be on Carson or Leno or something like that. And then, you came along at a time when it was far,
things were
you were
opening
one of
up.
us. That's what makes you cool. That's what everybody goes. Everybody, I'm just saying in the hood. Everybody goes,
trust me.
Everybody goes, oh, Conan O'Brien? He's one of us.
He's one of us? Oh, I swear to God, I get that all the time. Don't laugh, Sona. I get that all the time. when I go to the hood, when I go to the hood, people are like, "Oh, good, you're back in the hood."
Yeah, you're back. And everybody's like, "Yo, yeah." I mean, I go in the barbershop. You see Conan lately? I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's my N-word."
Yeah. Come on, Sona, how many times have you been looking for me and I've been at the barbershop?
Oh, yeah. So many
Just
times.
shooting the shit.
Just hanging out.
Getting a nice fade. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's you.
I need a fade. I need a fade so badly.
You should go like to Philadelphia where they do the linings, where they line up you. You haven't had facial hair in a long time, though.
No, I shaved it off a long. Yeah, I did. I had a beard for a while, and then I shaved it. Will Ferrell actually said, "Shave it, or I'm coming on the show and I'll shave it." And I didn't shave it, so he came on the show, brought a barber chair, and shaved me. And it was hilarious. And then I thought, once Will Ferrell shaves you, you can't go back.
No, that's it.
That's it.
No,
so I was done after that. I have to say, the other thing that has always impressed me is you have such amazing style. You really have. I mean, even the hat you're wearing right now is fantastic.
These are fun. This is a good friend of mine. This guy, James Keith. The company is named Keith James, but he came up with this red bottom hat like a few years ago, and it was me and Floyd Mayweather. We kind of jumped on early, and then everybody, it's a very popular hat, the red bottom hat. So this is cool. You can go and grab it.
That's a very cool looking hat.
Yeah.
I don't think I could pull it off. I think you have to be able to pull it off. And when I put a hat on, I look like a child that stole his father's hat. That's what it looks like. You know what I mean? It just does. And I've got a massive head, so even a big hat looks like a yarmulke on me.
So, yeah.
Which you can relate to, Mr. Schaefer.
Of course.
But it's amazing because I'm curious. That was something you were interested in, even as a young man, as a kid. You were very interested in style.
Yeah. I grew up in a small town in Missouri, Caruthersville, Missouri. But my mother, who was probably, I guess in her generation, was one of the first people to kind of go away to college and then come back.
Yep.
And so she knew how to do the order from the catalogs and so people would normally shop at the little local store in town. But my mother would be like, ordering from magazines. And so very early on, I can remember having like nice outfits when I go to school,
right.
3rd, 4th grade, like people would know me for my clothes. And so it's not like today's generation where you got to have like the top thing, like everybody, like you got to have Jordans or these shoes. It's just like you just wanted to have something different than the other kids.
Yeah. And
so I think that became, a part of like my identity for sure. And then coming from St. Louis, that was another thing too. Like Midwest was very, I remember like my family would dress up on Saturday mornings to do nothing. Like you would go by and you're like, where are you going? No, nowhere. Just full-fledged, beautiful outfits on. And that was kind of the way, like people love to show off their clothes. So I think I brought that to the stage. And it was good because I think very like right after me, the kind of jeans and T-shirt thing became very popular, and I kind of like that I treat going on the stage more like a professional.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always like, even to this day, if I'm on stage, I like to put on a tie. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'm wearing it with a jean jacket, but I'm wearing a tie because I like to create the difference between, it's like if you get up at the altar or something in church, you want to have a little bit of that feeling of separation that I'm dressing up to go do this thing that's very important to me. Yeah. And you have to show it in very small ways. But I didn't realize how much clothes could influence a person. I had no clothes. I was nude for years. But it wasn't until I was like in my late 20s.
Ladies and gentlemen, Conan O'Brien.
Then shrieks. Shrieks.
He's not wearing anything.
I can see his veins.
Here, take my yarmulke.
Cover that thing up.
Cover your other head.
So I was no, but it's true that I didn't have a sense, and I remembered getting some important gig and going and needing a suit and going out and buying like a nice suit, and I put it on. But I was in my late 20s before I owned like a really nice suit, and I remembered thinking, this makes me feel better about myself.
Oh, definitely.
It was as much for me as for anybody else. And I think when you get up on stage and you want to, I don't know, you want to feel like you look good. It helps you'll take anything that will help a little bit.
No, definitely. That's so important. And I don't think people take that into account anymore, like, because it's just really a world where you can just show up with whatever you got on and everybody's just like, it's all about the artist, which is fine, but I say that same thing. I remember when those like suit warehouse places kind of came on. You can get like 3 suits for $100 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I used to like sell fax machines. Like I used to sell the Rico fax machine. And I remember having one of those suits, and I lucked up and got one like a Zanuti or some brand that felt like it was like, ooh, this is really Italian.
Right.
But I remember that particular suit made me feel extremely aristocratic. Like I was like, oh, the laugh changed. I did that laugh actually.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, come on. Yeah, anybody can get a message from you. Like, just put this in there. This is going to be the thing for the next 7 decades. You're gonna.
The fax is never going away.
Never going out. You're gonna need this. Trust me. You can own this forever, fam.
You were a claims adjuster for State Farm's insurance for a while.
Yeah. That was
Were you good? Were you a good claims adjuster?
No. Let's just get that out there. And
in case anyone's trying to hire you,
in
let's
case
get that out
somebody's
there now.
still in a rental car, which is probably the kind of stuff I would do. I was like one of those claims adjusters. Like, if you give me any hard luck story, I'm like, okay, sure, that makes sense. And to the point that one year,
a mummy stole your house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah, I get it. Mummies. It's been a rash. Trust me, I see it all the time. I got files just stacked up over here. You're good. But I definitely, people would start to come to me around prom and graduation time and have these made up accidents so that I can get them rental cars for their kids to drive. So, and I knew that's what was going on. So they like, somebody ran into me at the grocery store. I'm like, okay, got it. We'll say that your car needs a 2-day thing, and go ahead, rent the Cadillac for the daughter. I know what you're doing. I'm going to give you an upgrade.
Thank you. It's prom.
Yeah. State Farm was like, no.
Not cool.
But I was able to do that for a while. That was a fun kind of professional gig where you did learn, like all the differences between people's personalities, because car people are exactly kind of who you think they are. Like Corvette people are the super, the best. If you can't tell a Corvette person anything. They drive a Corvette. You're like, we didn't have Ferraris in St. Louis, so that was rare. If I met a Ferrari person, I would be in awe. Yeah.
To this day, I've never driven any of those fancy cars.
Really?
I've never driven a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Bugatti or any of those. I don't even know what it's like to drive one. I don't know that I've been in one.
Yeah, I had a Ferrari for like maybe a couple of months. It kept breaking. It was weird. I don't know. I felt like I had a limit or something, so I didn't really keep that one. And then I got in a Lamborghini one time, and it's so low. It just really wasn't made for, brothers of my girth. So it was quite embarrassing.
You know what they should do? They should make
it's like you pull up in a $300,000 car and then got to do some kind of drop and roll. All righty.
The valet is like, yes.
Thank you. Hey,
9.8. 9.8.
Like, once I put the gas in, I'm waiting till everybody else leaves before I get in,
They should have tailors for cars. They should have people that, what I mean? Like, you want a Ferrari? I'll make you a Ferrari. And they measure you, and then they get you that slightly wider, rounder Ferrari.
I love Giuseppe.
I love Giuseppe.
That's who's making the Ferrari.
You like a Ferrari?
You like a Ferrari.
Oh, I make you a Ferrari.
Giuseppe, thank you. Thank you, Giuseppe.
For you, Mr. Entertainer, anything.
But of course.
I got to ask you about a friend of yours, Tracy Morgan, because he's a friend of mine as well. And I know you've worked with him on The Last OG, and it's just, he's this guy who if Tracy wasn't famous, I couldn't explain him to anybody. Is that right?
True. I just talked to Tracy the other day, so I called him just on some random, hey, bro, checking in, you know. And he just goes like you've been having a conversation. Said, it don't make no sense, you know. It's just the way that it is, you know. Yeah. You know, I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
That's a lot of money for fish.
Yeah.
What?
He's really into the fish.
Oh, he's into the fish.
The fish are crazy.
I'm telling you, this is a true story. Well, during COVID, when we were doing the interviews, and people would be on Zoom, and I'm talking to him, and he's talking and being crazy. And that's crazy enough. Just trying to talk to the man is insane. Talk to Tracy Morgan, have a conversation with him is insane. And then a barracuda swam behind him. Yeah. And I was like, what the? And he was like, that's my fish tank. And it's not a fish tank. It's a fish tank the size of this studio that's in his house.
Yes.
And it's got sharks and barracudas. It's like he's a James Bond villain who's, you know what I mean?
You look up and it's like groups of kids doing field trips through there. It's a very odd thing. Like, it's such a big fish tank in someone's house. You're like, is that what? Khan Academy kids? Who are these kids? Why do they have uniforms on? Like, and the fish have names. And, and they're usually rarer than just what you say.
Yeah.
It's not just the barracuda. It's some crazy, unique barracuda that he's found, you know, off the shores of Seashell or somewhere. It's like you're like, what? He's like, yo, that's Myron. That's my man's right there. Yeah, it's Myron. He's a barracuda. He's barracuda, but he get everybody pregnant. He get all the other fish pregnant.
Who was it? He was on the podcast. We did a podcast in New York City, and he came on, and I hugged him when he came out, and he smelled. I gotta thought he had this powerful cologne on. I'm like, what is that? And he said, it's Jupe. And you know the way he holds it for a long time, and he looks at the whole crowd, and he's just was telling us, Jupe, it's Jupe. And he made half the segment about Jupe. Yeah. And Jupe was delighted. Yeah. Because no one's talked about Jupe in a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah. But he gets into something, and he can make.
Yeah, you can barely get that in the middle of the mall nowadays. I don't even know.
Well, they sent us a crate.
He sent you a bottle.
Jupe is still a classic. It's a classic, though. It's one of those ones like Chorus and Jupe and Lagerfeld. Those were the ones when we grew up on, smelling great and groovy.
Yeah.
Obsession.
I put a little on and didn't say anything, and I went home to my wife.
Yes.
And
come on, man.
No, it didn't go well.
Of course not.
She made me check into a hotel.
Yeah. You're not a cologne guy.
I'm not a cologne guy.
Yeah.
I have my own odor that's tough enough. I smell like onions and fear. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend is brought to you by T-Mobile. From listening to your favorite podcast while driving cross country to listening at home, T-Mobile helps you stay connected. I wonder what people's favorite podcast is. Oh, I've got some ideas. Actually, it's one idea. Yeah. You'll figure it out. T-Mobile is America's largest and fastest 5G network. You can have seamless video calling.
Oh, that's good.
Streaming your favorite podcast. I'm not going to say which one it is.
Yeah.
Downloading apps, games. Boy, you know what a gamer I am.
You're such a gamer.
Play Starbursters.
Yeah.
Or Realm of Xanos. You can watch your favorite TV episodes, classic Conan, new Conan, old Conan, mid-season Conan, as long as it's Conan.
Oh, no.
Find out more at T-Mobile.com/network. Fastest based on media and overall combined 5G speeds, according to analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data for Q1 2023. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com. You know, I heard you say once, which I really liked, you were talking about how, with the exception of that guy who you needed to knock out in order to get your start in show business, that is a rare exception for you because you don't root against other comedians. You're happy for them to do well because your theory has always been, it's like that concept that a rising tide lifts all the boats.
Yeah.
You're rooting for other people to do well. You think it's going to expand the space.
Yeah, for sure. I think, because, creativity is definitely that. Like if you're around creative people, just like this vibe, like the energy lifts up. You start saying things or doing things that you would never have thought of before. So, it's great to be around like people that are, that they can be young or older, but they bring in a good vibe and good energy. Then, that's usually going to inspire you to go higher, so that's why I like that. That's why I kind of love that attitude of like when people are killing it or they bring something new to the game or something like that, you're like, yo, let's go. I like that. You know?
Yeah. I think that's a great attitude. I'm going to pretend to have the same attitude.
I like it.
No, I really do. I like to root for people, and it's just like in the time that I've known Kevin Hart, he went from being, this guy that would come on our show to I think he's basically has the gross national product of like a fairly well-to-do country now.
Yeah,
he's everywhere. He's in every commercial. He's in every single commercial, and they just switch out what he's holding. He doesn't even know. They take out one credit card and they put a different one in. But he has such a positive energy, and I always get energized when I'm around him.
Yeah,
because it's coming from a good place. He just. This is what he loves.
That's what's so great. I think that a lot of people too, like Kevin literally is one of those people like you go, he's the same person as when you kind of knew him back when.
Yep.
Even though he's like extremely successful and really rich, he really is very approachable and regular dude.
And he'll go right into, wait, what did you say? That's bullshit. Like he's right there and connected.
Yeah.
He starts giving me shit about like what I'm wearing immediately in this very friendly, in touch way. Whereas as we all know people that have hit it and then something happens. It's like they go behind a bubble forms around them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It seems to be less of that. I guess probably nowadays with social media, the opportunity where people kind of know you a little bit more. But I think you're right. I think that it used to be being a star meant you had to be a little more reclusive. You had to give off this persona of I'm kind of other than, I'm a little bit more than the average person. But now I think, if you do that to somebody, like at a damn Starbucks, then, you big time them, then, they can light you up all day on, and next thing you know, it just starts a wave. You're like, no, I just didn't see you, I had my sunglasses on or whatever, but I think you gotta protect yourself as a human being. Like, I was always one when my kids were little, and I was a stickler for, like making sure that people understood I was with my children. Like, let's try to get at some merit, guys. Like, it's not that I don't want to take pictures with you or, but I'm with my little kids, right? I'm not gonna.
I find that mostly people respect that.
Yeah.
For the most part. And if they don't, that's telling you something about them.
About them, right? Yeah. Exactly. But, you're the target, so that's the hard thing, until I turn the target on you.
Jesus, what happened to you? You totally switched.
Yeah.
You all right?
What happened? Yeah.
You off your meds?
Yeah.
I was thinking about you today. I'm obviously very excited that you were going to come in and talk, because every time I talk to you it's a joy. But there was this quote that I came across that really resonates with me, and I'm sure you've heard it, but it's Aaron Paul, and he said that you're one of the most professional people he's ever worked with, but you're also the most immature person he's ever worked with. And I thought, there is something about you that beautifully is able to contain both. And I believe that. I like to think that I'm professional. I'm also a complete fool. And somehow I think it's possible to contain the two at the same time. Is that making sense to you?
I think so. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think you can be sincere and have the things you want to set up in your life and enjoy it. Don't take it too seriously. Don't feel you're entitled to anything. You're very lucky. And I think if you flow with that, you get a chance to have fun and goof around. But I think, I think it depends on how you were raised and the principles that you stand by, you know. I really do. I think it's, you know, I tell actors all the time, get your personal life in order. If you really want to be an actor, you have to get your personal life in order so that you don't flake out. If you get your first job and you have a nice big paycheck, don't go blow it on something. Put it away so that the more
it will sustain you.
Yeah,
later,
so the longer you can be an actor, you know, and make a living at it.
That's so fascinating because I think there are probably a lot of young actors out there that think the other way. They think, you know, there are people that think, in order to be a great artist, I must act like a maniac because the tail wags the dog. Well, it doesn't.
No.
You know, you just need to be good at what you do, at your craft. You need to keep it together. But I think there are a lot of people that don't think that way. You know what I mean? That think, yeah, I'm in my 20s. I'm starting to make some money. Gravity is starting to lift. Everyone's treating me really nicely. It's time to fuck up.
Well, it's like, especially with men. Men are just boys that can shave. Because,
wow, you really.
I'm going to take that one on the road.
Yeah, you really got to Sona on that one. Sona, how's the marriage?
It's great. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's true because we're very we're stimulated physically. We see a car. Oh my God! Look at that car.
Yeah.
We see a beautiful person, male or female. Is, oh wow! Look at that. Look at these things. Look at the gadgets. And we sometimes act upon it. We look at as a boy. Oh, I want that chocolate. I want that thing. And as men, you have to look at it and go, I want that chocolate, but if I grab that chocolate, I'm going to feel such and such after. I want that woman, but I am married and I need to not do that. You know, you have to think of consequences behind every decision. That's basically the difference between a man and a boy.
Yeah. It's funny because it feels, I know that I've known Bob Odenkirk forever, and he gives you a lot of credit for helping him when he was starting out in his role on Breaking Bad. And he said that you were very good at telling him, you gotta know your lines, you gotta hit your mark, you gotta do the work beforehand. And that was your introduction to acting for him, was you gotta get your shit together before you go out there. Uh-huh. And it's I've heard all kinds of stories over the years in this business, mostly behind the scenes, about very well-known actors that don't do that. They don't know their lines.
You'd be surprised.
Yes, yeah. And they're hanging out in their trailer for a while, and they're not just doing the work. And I think one of the times that we spoke, you had so much pride in the fact that you've been a working actor really your entire life, for the most part of your life, and that you have, and it's such a nice way to break it down, because we can all get existential about our career or where are we now. You're working, you're making things, you're paying your mortgage. It's a great way to, I think, kind of simplify it.
Well, look, if you're lucky enough to be in a business that you love to do, a creative one, and you make a living, I don't want to hear a complaint out of you.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear that you have to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're acting. Look at us. So every job that I work on where I lead the cast, I try to set that example so that I don't want to hear any complaints from anyone. Mm-hmm. There's enough artistic frustration within. A joke's not landing. This is not working. Oh, we need to recast because this didn't work out, or there's enough problems to deal with. You should not be dealing with any kind of problems of I don't want to be here that early, or how late do we have to stay, or some actors who don't want to be off camera for another actor. It's like I started that when I was really young. Jennifer O'Neill. Do you remember Jennifer O'Neill?
Sure.
Summer of 42. Beautiful, beautiful woman. And I was a guest star on a show that she did called Cover Up. Was it Cover Up? I think it was. And I had this big emotional scene. It was the denouement. It was here's what happened, and here's why it happened, and how it happened. and it's with her. And we came back from lunch, and the director said, Jennifer is still having lunch with someone in the commissary, so we'll just do your side of it now with the script supervisor reading it off camera. Right. And I said, this is a big scene. I wouldn't mind if it was just a couple little lines and not a big deal, not an emotional thing. But this is a big deal, so I don't think so. I don't think we should do that. Yeah. Wow. And they said, excuse me? I said, no, I think we should wait for her then, don't you think? And they said, well, I don't know if we should. And I said, no, I think it's important enough to wait for her to get this right. And so they had to wait for her.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that you had, again, this is a testament to you're very young at this point. You haven't made it.
No. I was 27.
You're not Bryan Cranston yet. No. You're an early form of Bryan Cranston. You're the beta. And and to say that, because I haven't done much work in that world, but what little I've done, it's immediately clear that they shoot you in your scene where you're yelling at me, and then they turn around and they shoot me getting yelled at by you, and if you're out for that scene and they're just hanging a tennis ball there, saying pretend the tennis ball is Bryan, it's very hard to do your thing.
Not really, because that tennis ball probably gives you as much emotion as I would give you,
and as much respect. I practiced this whole interview with a tennis ball,
and it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we're not speaking anymore.
Oh,
yeah. The
tennis ball is filing a complaint.
Canceled by a tennis
That's
ball.
Right.
That would be the lowest.
Hi, my name is Bryan Cranston, and I feel stimulated about being. I just can't say it.
I think you just couldn't get beyond stimulated.
Yeah, once I said that.
Once you said stimulated, the whole atmosphere in the room changed.
Yeah, steamy.
Yeah. Stimmy.
It's a steamy.
Steamy stim.
Steamy stimulation for Bryan Cranston to be Conan O'Brien's friend.
Yeah. I think that's Conan O'Brien's friend. That's where I stumbled.
Oh.
Cruel.
No.
Yeah, cruel and unnecessary. A man of your stature.
No, because I haven't entered into the pantheon of that.
My great friends.
Brethren, yes.
Like Sona and Matt.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm sorry.
What?
Towering figures?
And we're not your friends. Let's be clear.
Wow. You're paid to be my friends.
Like a hooker.
Oh, wait.
It's a similar
What is
relationship.
happening?
This is stimulating.
Yeah. Adam's like the pimp. And
Yeah.
it's true.
God.
I mean, it's look, it's the world's oldest profession. Or so I'm told.
Yes, we
Never had any experience.
You didn't. I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Let's get into it. Bryan Cranston, you were with a lady of the evening once, huh?
Yes, I was a virgin, and I was traveling with a bunch of friends in Europe. I was 16 years old.
Good God.
And it was the thing to do. And I was actually looking forward to it. And nervous as hell. Of course, I'm 16.
Yeah.
And a bunch of friends who we were out together, and it's like, we're going to do this. Let's go. And I go, yeah, sure, let's go. And I'm like, oh, God. And we go to this, the red light district in Salzburg, Austria.
Whoa. Okay.
And my two older friends, they were about a year and a half older than me. And they're going in, and I started to get cold feet, and I said, I don't think I brought enough money. I don't think I have enough Austrian francs to be able to make this transaction.
Sure.
And they both made their deals, and they went upstairs. And I said, no, I don't have the money, or trying to indicate in the universal language of,
Right.
don't have it or whatever. And I sat down in the foyer, and then this woman came up to me, and everyone's older than you when you're 16.
Yes.
I could not tell you how old she was. She came up and she goes, indicated my pockets. I go, oh, no, see, and she said, yeah. And I went, no, see, I'll show you that I don't have enough. See, that's just not, this is nothing. This is not. And she grabbed the money and grabbed my hand and said,
Oh my Lord.
And I went, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this is happening, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And we go into this room. There's a single bed, there's a sink, and a trash can. That's it.
Oh, Jesus.
So I had this, and she goes, she points to my clothes like, like this. She's preparing herself.
Man, she really sets the mood.
Oh my
she?
God. Yeah.
My penis would be up inside my body at this point. It would have retracted into my left lung. Would have its little arms crossed.
Oh, you are a woman. You are a woman. No, I swear. So then I had to stand up while taking my clothes off, and I put it on a hook, and she goes, come on. And I knew, it was like, oh my God, I was so nervous that I didn't really feel anything. I was just, my brain was on fire. And at one point, I thought, "Oh, I should touch her breast."
Just one of them.
It's like defusing a bomb. Don't touch the wrong one.
Clip the red wire, not the blue one. And it was like, which one should I touch? I don't know. And so I just touched one of her breasts, and all of a sudden I just felt her hand slap mine. Wow! Oh. Sorry. Just she slapped my hand.
Oh my God!
To take my hand off her breast.
Because that was out of bounds.
You didn't pay enough.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's true.
That's exactly right.
That's probably it. Like, no. You get this McDonald's meal, but you don't get the extra large fries, and you don't get the shake.
Right.
Yeah, and there's no prize.
Yeah.
None.
So the deed was done.
Yeah.
Wow. 16.
Yeah. And then of course out I go, and my friends were coming down the stairs, and of course I was smoking my imaginary cigarette. How was yours? But I say that it's like it was a traumatic and a great, exhilarating, memorable experience, man. It was a seminal moment in a person's life when they lose their virginity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've been going back to Austria ever since.
I know. Brian, I'm looking here. It says that you've shot your last 7 movies in Austria, in Salzburg.
It's such a beautiful place, though, Conan. It really, and the exchange rate is really good. Very talented crews.
Yeah, you're often seen with a now 110-year-old woman walking hand in hand in the marketplace.
Please don't address Heidi that way. She is very sensitive.
Heidi Redbreast? I've seen her.
Wow. Yeah. You know what I loved about that? We were just starting to chat.
Yeah.
And I didn't get us there. There was some joke. And then
we were called prostitutes.
Yeah, which is a really funny joke. Yeah. And then Brian's just like, well, if you're going to drag it out of me, I was one of the Watergate co-conspirators. What? I was able, through my connections in the biz, I don't know what biz, actually. I shouldn't have said that.
Biz?
Oh, it's biz.
I never said that. What?
No. It's an accounting firm. But I got to watch the opening, because I watched the first season of Your Honor, and I do love it. And then I got to watch the opening show of the second season, which was made available to me.
How is that possible?
They got it for me.
The Biz.
Yeah, The Biz.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's terribly edited. They really rushed it together.
Just dailies.
He needs it now.
Yeah. But that opening scene where you're, and I don't want to give anything away because it hasn't come out yet, but what your character has gone through, and that is a memorable scene that the second season opens with.
So you're saying something that I can't even comment on.
You can't even comment on it. I'm just saying.
But I understand what you mean.
What I'm saying to
Yes.
people out there is you need to catch up on Your Honor if you haven't, and then this first episode, I thought, which is coming out soon,
Very soon.
was riveting, and it's the same thing where you start out this character who, it is a little bit evocative of stuff you've done before, where you're starting out in one place and then we're seeing your character get pulled like a piece of metal to the point where it's a wire and it's quivering, and you think, is this going to break? Is this going to break at any moment? It's just really
a very descriptive way of putting it. I like that.
I was a metallurgist for a while.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
and so Matt will tell you all my, whenever I make any kind of illusion at all, it's usually it's like when you take copper, and you pound it, and then you apply, some cold water.
Yeah, he only knows metal and analogies,
and it acts as a conduit too.
And then you can access other. It's a little like brass.
Yeah,
it's insufferable.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah,
I apologize. But kids, study metallurgy, and then you can get into comedy.
You are the verdigris of my.
Yeah,
it's fun. The people at Showtime are just enormously supportive, and they gave us the tools and the time to be able to create this second season of Your Honor the way, frankly, I wanted to do it.
Yeah, it's great too, because my favorite shows are the ones where it's not always clear who I should be rooting for, because there's it's a way that TV has, I think, improved so much since the TV. When we were growing up, television was good guy.
Yeah.
The bad guys are coming. It's getting tense. Good guy wins. Credits. And I think obviously we've evolved to this place where people that I understand their motivations, I like them, but I'm also horrified by what they're doing. I'm not sure I agree with all these choices, but I understand why they're making them.
Yeah.
And I think that we've come a long way since Happy Days. No knock against Happy Days, but the old formula was nothing can ever change.
It was stasis.
The Fonz is always the Fonz.
That's right.
Richie's always Richie. And this is how it is.
Yeah. And that's the way people find comfort in that. And there are still procedurals that people do find very comfortable. They are presented with a problem that our hero is going to solve by the end of the episode, and they do. I don't particularly find that very entertaining because it's so kind of black and white.
Yeah.
But it's the serialized shows that go deep into it. And I think younger generation, the generation now that is coming up, graduate from college or whatever, they're far more sophisticated and they demand more in their entertainment.
Yeah.
And you cannot serve them the same old dish that they had before. They won't take it because there's so many options to them.
Yeah.
You have to rise to their level of expectations. And we were fed pablum in those days. It's like this is what you have. It's Hawaii Five-0. And it's that driving music, and it's like, oh, something exciting is going to happen. And then it doesn't. And it's like, oh, okay. Well,
the other thing is, it was, I sound like a guy describing the Great Depression, but because I didn't, by no stretch of the imagination did I had a difficult childhood, but there were 3 networks. And so there was very little competition. They were all pretty much making the same stuff. And the third place network was making a fortune. I mean, there was no such thing as losing money because they were the only games. And there's ABC, there's CBS, there's NBC. And then it's quite a while later that like Fox shows up. But that was it. Yeah. And so you often watched things because the reception was pretty good.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I'm getting this channel in. It's pretty. What are you watching? It's a Catholic mass.
That's right.
You sure you don't want to? No, it looks good though. They're doing the communion ceremony, so let's check it out. But the things that we would watch just because it came in, and I take shit for this sometimes because I go after the show Chips, but when I watch one of those now. And I'm looking at all the logical flaws.
I did an episode of that.
Did you really?
Of course I did.
Who were you? And what did you do that needed the intervention of some motorcycle cops?
I was a newlywed, And they don't give you much time to create a character.
What? What are you talking about? You were Guy on hang glider.
They said this newlywed Southern couple, and so I was talking like this.
Yeah.
I mean, big. You know, baby, come on, baby, let's drive fast. You know.
I've got to see this episode.
Oh yeah. And here's the scandal, is that the woman who played my betrothed was a woman, Kathy Shower, I believe, and I believe she was like a Playboy playmate or a penthouse pet or something like that. Mm-hmm. And boy, Eric Estrada was on her immediately, of course. And it's like, so I rarely saw her. It was like they were off.
Whoa!
It's like, Mr. Estrada, we're ready. In a minute.
Oh, God bless the late 70s and early 80s. What a wonderful time.
Oh, my God.
I don't mean to imply that and impugn her integrity as
they
a
were
human
going over
being.
lines.
Yes,
Totally.
that's right.
That's hilarious. No, but I often use that as an example of that's TV where there's not much competition. That's how it always felt to me, meaning, what's happening this week? Well, there's some jewel thieves and they operate on the highway. Why would they?
Don't ask.
Yeah. And then the guys, rather than the FBI getting involved, because this is interstate commerce crime, we're going to ask these two motorcycle highway patrolmen to crack this ring.
It's proximity. They're
exactly.
there.
They're there. And so then the next week, they crack that, and then it always ends with the beginning of the show, because I ranted about this with Bill Burr on the podcast once, so I know I'm repeating myself, but I have to do this because you're here. It always starts with, there's a disco dance competition in the policemen's union. Ponch, you going to enter? Guys, I got to. Nah, you shouldn't do it, Ponch. Hey, wait a minute. It's time for the meeting. There's some jewel thieves on the highway. Ponch, John, get on it. They do that, and then at the end of the episode, they're slapping the cuffs. I can't believe you caught us. Hey, Ponch, you better get going. You're right. Well, you can't tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman. And Ponch dancing, and everyone's like, yeah!
Freeze frame.
Freeze frame, right. And then next week, there's going to be a hang gliding competition with a bunch of bikini-clad girls.
Yeah.
But first, someone's stealing Renoirs on the highway. But Bill gets mad. He's like, I love that show. And I'm like, no, Bill. Hey there, welcome to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. Slightly different situation today. I am in New York City. I made up a name for it. I call it the Big Apple. Just came up with it yesterday. And I'm sitting here with David Hopping. How are you, David?
I'm good. Happy
David,
to
of
be
course,
here.
grew up in a cornfield, completely unfamiliar with the city.
Yeah.
But it's overwhelming for you. He keeps looking up at the skyscrapers, clutching his cardboard suitcase and saying, "Garsh."
How did they build them? They're so tall.
Yeah. Anyway, he said they're like silos with windows. And I said, just take it easy, David. You'll get used to it. And this is nice. We have a connection back to L.A. with my perpetual chum for life, my ride or die buddy,
Hell yeah.
Sona,
Yeah.
movsesian. No gourley today because he's off at I think, what is he doing? He's at it's like a festival where everyone just looks at their old 45s. Is that what he's doing?
Wait, is he at like the Renaissance Fair? No? Where is he? What do you mean he's at a fair? Is he at a fair? Or you made it up?
I'm sorry, you're probably new to me. I made something up, Sona, just to have
sorry.
fun.
I thought like
Yeah,
when
no,
you said
you're new to
fair, I
this.
thought, oh my God, did he miss work because he's at the
You know
Renaissance
what I'd love to do?
Fair?
I'd love to do improvisation with Sona Movsesian. Like, hey, welcome to my ice cream shop. Wait a minute, this is an ice cream shop? I thought we were on a stage. Curtain comes down. Boo, boo. Conan was good, but who was that lady?
No, they'll be like, oh, she just redefined improv. You know?
Yes!
Yeah.
Possible. You could be the Oppenheimer of improv.
Oh,
Just
God.
say, like, what are you talking about? This is not, no, we're on a stage. This is not an ice cream shop.
Yeah.
Audience, she just blew through my mind, man.
Or I could say, like, can you list all the flavors for me? And then it just derails the whole sketch because you're just like strawberry, vanilla, chocolate, Rocky Road.
Hey, you're good at this.
Rainbow
You're a good
sherbet.
improviser.
I'm out. Okay. Mint chocolate chip,
Hazelnut.
pistachio, hazelnut,
Yeah.
coffee, coffee with chocolate chip.
David has one corn flavor. Good one, David.
Was that your impression of
Corn
me?
flavor.
Why do I
I
sound
like corn flavor.
do I
I'm
sound
going to
like
go
a
see the
robot?
Broadway show Smash.
I did. I went
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was it much like the TV show?
It was, yeah.
Okay. Wow. There's so much he's not saying. Anyway, what's that, Sona? Do I work out? Yes, I work out.
Oh, I didn't ask that. You did? Are you working out when you do work out? Like, do you go to the gym when you're
Not
on
as
the road?
much. I've been too busy. There's been a lot to do. And
Oh.
so that my schedule gets thrown off.
Well, it feels like you could
And
squeeze in
then,
like a half hour workout if you really were serious about it. What? What?
Kind of hard to do. What's that? What's that?
What's that?
You're right. I gotta get to the gym. I gotta get to the gym. People, when they
Fold
meet
it.
me on the street, they expect me to be jacked.
Mm.
Sona,
Yeah?
we've got a big show today. Big show. We got a really big shoe. Remember Ed Sullivan?
No.
Okay. Can we put crickets in?
Oh, wait. Sorry. We're improving. Yeah, I remember when I used to watch Ed Sullivan as a kid and we had a big shoe. I remember that.
Yeah.
There
Good
you
improv,
go.
Sona. Remember the time you and Ed Sullivan went to that ice cream parlor and you got strawberry, vanilla, coconut, pistachio, hazelnut, creme de caramel, Oreo crunch, vanilla flipple, sab dab jabba dab,
Flipple?
habba da boo. Okay, Sandler came
You
in.
suck at improv.
What's that? Greatest man who ever lived? Thank you,
no,
Sona.
I said you
Okay.
suck at improv. You're welcome. What? I can give you
Yeah.
notes. I'll give you notes. It's all right. You know what? You should
My
do the
guest
intro.
today.
What?
What's that? My guest today. You're the worst. Why are we? You know what I love? Whoever invented the technology that allowed us to talk in real time to someone in Los Angeles, it leads to this. They think, oh, this will be amazing. People will be doing surgeries from across the coast. No. Two
This is better.
idiots are going to be talking over each other. What's that? Huh? What's that? No, I knew you were, but what am I? Blah, 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 blah. I'm rubber, you're glue. My guest today is a writer and actor who stars in the new movie Nobody 2. He is a very old friend of mine, and it's really meaningful that I get to talk to him today. Thrilled he's with us. Bob Odenkirk, welcome. I'm here in New York. I went last night to see your guys' production of Glengarry Glen Ross. Blown away, really fantastic. Michael McKean is in it with you, Bill Burr. Who are we talking about here?
Oh, Kieran Culkin.
Kieran Culkin,
Donald
of course.
Weber
Yeah.
Jr., Howard Overshaw.
I mean, really,
and John Piricelli.
it is just a spectacular cast. And I mean, all of you were great. It was really special for me because, to anyone who doesn't know listening to this, Bob and I met in 1988 when I first came to Saturday Night Live. And immediately we realized you and I have a weird twin language.
Yeah.
We're two complete left brain weirdos who are cartoonish and silly. And so Bob and I would just hide in an office and talk gibberish to each other.
Oh, see, that's why I called your producer about today. I was like,
Yeah.
what does he want to talk about?
I know. No. Well, I want to get to a bunch of things you're
Because I
doing.
thought this would just be gibberish.
No.
And I have a weird thing. I've had so much fun doing podcasts with friends, David Cross's podcast and things, and letting it devolve into gibberish.
Right.
But there's something weird, Conan, I've been feeling about like not wanting to do that
Yeah.
in public anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's called you don't want to be medicated by the state. You know, you don't want to be taken away. And I understand that completely.
No,
but
there's something
you know what it triggered for me last night in a nice way was you and I had this, we just loved being weird together, and we had all these adventures. We were just talking about when we were in the show Happy Good Show together in, you know, back in the day.
Yeah.
At Victory Gardens Theater, Chicago, summer of '88, Robert Smigel, and just this really fun thing that we tried to do. And then we had some time off, and you and I drove down to Springfield and visited the house, Lincoln's house in Springfield. And then I'm the exact height that Lincoln was, and you became obsessed with I should talk as Lincoln, and you should talk as his law partner, Herndon.
Yes.
And Herndon had big mutton chops, and this is one of your specialties, is you can go into these great characters, as everyone knows, And you and I walked around Springfield together, and you were like, I tell you, Abe, I think you're going to run for president. You're going to win. Yeah, you know, and I was going like, well, I don't know. And it was just, who are we amusing? We're amusing no one. I think we're just making ourselves happy, but I think we did that for a couple of hours. Last night was special for me because you're in this, I mean, I'm so glad it's been acknowledged. You got a Tony nomination playing Shelley Levine in this classic David Mamet play, and you killed it. You absolutely killed it. And it was so, because I flashed back to, wait a minute, I remembered, I think in 1990 or 89 or 90, you did a one-man show called Half My Face is a Clown.
Yeah.
And again, we were still writers trying to figure out, do we get to be in front of people?
Yeah.
Should we be in front of people?
Yeah.
Are we too weird to be in front of people?
Yeah.
And I went and saw you do your show. And there are bits in it that are still, I have such fond memories. And I remember at the time watching you and thinking, Bob's doing it. And he's really funny. This is great. And I was telling you last night, it's kind of, you didn't make a break with your past, because I can see moments where you're accessing.
Oh, there's no question. There's things in Glengarry Glen Ross that I'm doing physicalizations or to get sort of conceptualizations of a moment. Of an emotion or that could be in Half My Face is the Clown or Happy Happy Good Show or any of those early
Or Mr.
things.
Show.
Yes.
Like there are things you're doing that you're accessing that people would think, well, this is really funny, but it can't belong on Broadway in front of a sold-out crowd, and you can't be Tony nominated for it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. And also, I mean, clearly you built up these incredible chops doing
Saul.
Yeah.
Saul.
Yeah. Better Call Saul, and before that, Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And you were around these masters and you worked it and worked it and worked it. And it was, I mean.
Well, Smigel, Robert Smigel, our friend, who's the reason I even got on Saturday Night Live. And I think the reason I was able to stay there for any length of time was he came to the dress show. And I said to him, because I'd been asking this question, am I being too silly in this role? Yeah. And he said...
For Glengarry,
Glengarry. And he said, yes, Bob, you are. And you got to chill out. You got to tone it down. And I'd been waiting for someone to give me that response because that's what I felt. But our director, who was, to his great credit, let us run free.
Yeah.
I think he maybe hesitated. He didn't want me to feel hemmed in,
or editing yourself. Yeah.
And he was like, no, it's fine. It's great. And he very much wanted to do a humorous version of the play. He wanted as much comedy to come from the play as he could. He said that multiple times. So, but I think Robert was right. So after Smigel saw the show and called me and we talked, then I just kind of dialed it in more. Because obviously at the end of that play, Shelley asks for your empathy,
yes.
Yep. And if you've been too ridiculous, and I get close to it, it's hard to say that to the audience and now feel some degree of impact for this guy's, destruction, self-destruction.
Right.
And so Robert helped me dial that in. And I think I'll tell you, one of the things that helps me to be as fun and big as I am in this play is the size of the room.
Yeah.
Like that is a big room we're in with a play.
And there's not
people talking.
Unlike Saul, or the Nobody movies, there's not a camera 3 inches from your face.
Right.
And so some amount of projecting and being big, but I just thought whoever had the idea, I don't know how it happened, but and particularly you and Bill Burr, you're both playing these characters that you feel like Mamet wrote them for you. That's how it felt to me. Yeah. And I was so happy because I was watching you on this huge stage on Broadway. Everyone, applause when the curtain comes up. You have this scene, your opening scene is incredible, like nuclear energy from you and I'm just thinking, how did Bob remember all this?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm just amazed by it.
I got good at that doing Saul. I mean, Saul taught me how to learn a script.
Yeah.
And I had no choice, and I was so scared.
good
And
to be
Conan,
scared.
I
It's good to be
lost
scared,
my
yeah.
voice out of sort of stress.
Yeah.
The first week of Saul, and Ray Seahorn was so great, and we spent so much time together, she and I, and she really helped me through those early weeks. And so I learned that the ways to do that, which is essentially, I mean, if it's well written, if the thing is well written, even with the repetition that Mamet likes to use, feels like people slipping and tripping over their thoughts, and even with that, it's a story. It builds. It has one thing goes to the next. Even the trips in there, the vocal and the words that repeat themselves feel like they make sense, whether the person's nervous or excited or whatever. That's why there's a reason. There's an emotional reason.
Right.
And so it's really kind of, it's weird, Conan. The first thing I did with the Saul script, and really with the Breaking Bad script, was I just deconstructed it like a writer. Like if someone had said to you, rewrite this scene. And you know, that's what I did as an actor. It was like, what is he trying to say? Or what is his subtext? What is he, where is he going down a dead end? And then he goes back and starts again. And so it all comes from writing. And I got good at that. And there is also a kind of a weird muscle training that your brain, it gets better at memorization.
Well, also, it's music. And the thing is, in comedy, we know there's a music to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have these ideas and thoughts, and it's just because you and I love music, and we've always been kind of fascinated with wanting to play music and do music. Yeah. And then it's that thing that so many comedians, we want to be a rock star. Right. So, you know, early on in our lives, people assessed our skills and said, you should try comedy. It was... There's a music to this stuff, and there's a music to, and if you tune into that, I would think that would help, because the patterns in Glengarry Glen Ross and Mamet is just, if you can hear the music in your head, and I can tell that you guys all are hearing that, and it could be a vocal performance. That's what it is. It's a vocal performance.
Yeah. And sometimes when I was learning it, actually, I would sing it into my little recorder to help memorize it. And while you're singing it, it's not the most melodic thing you've ever heard, but it's got this like lyrical rhythm and kind of like melody that you find that helps you to memorize it. Yeah. I also would say Kieran, of all the people, is the one I most think about when I think about that kind of a sing-song version of his words and how he does it. By the way, Kieran never saw the film, never saw the play, so his performance is
lazy. He's lazy. It's just lazy. You're putting him up on a pedestal, but Kieran is famously just doesn't prepare.
Well, he's sleepy. It's not the same.
I said to him once, it was on this podcast, that I was talking about him on Succession, his character on Succession, and I noticed that I said, am I wrong, or is your character just completely unable to sit? He can't sit on a couch. He can't sit for a minute. Yeah. And he was like, no, that's it. He, not that it's all of it, but I noticed a lot that he's constantly squirming and he uses his body so well. And last night in the play, there's a really funny moment where he's trying to get away from someone. He's headed for the door. Yeah. And then finally he gets to the door and the person says something that stops him, and he just slumps, and it's like a Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin thing. It's really funny.
We get so many laughs with this thing. Yeah. And a lot of it, I give a lot of credit to Bill Burr, and that first scene with Bill and Michael. Yeah. So my scene comes on and there's laughs in there, but it's desperation. Yeah. And then you get Bill Burr and Michael McKean, and great laughs written in. Mamet wrote these jokes in. And these guys are nailing every single one, not to mention, finding other moments along the way. Yeah. And the audience, because it's Bill, especially, know like, oh, well, he's a comic. I think this is pretty damn funny. Well, that's definitely
allowed to
funny.
laugh.
I'm
Yeah.
allowed to laugh.
Yeah.
And so from that point on, they're looking for us to provide some comedy. And it's been so much fun. And I don't think you'd ever see a funnier version of this play. But at the same time, I think we're getting at the core of what it's about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't think we're dropping the meat of it just because we're finding all the humor within it. Yeah.
It's funny because just as we were talking about music and stuff, I'm remembering one of the first things I heard you do when we were first meeting each other and we're in our early 20s was you used to do this character called Rocker. And he was a heavy metal rocker.
Yeah.
And it was so, I forget what he did, but he'd be like, because he sang sort of he talked sort of like Axl Rose sings. And I always wanted you to do Rocker and be like, rock and roll. And I just delight.
Every time I see a guy, the other day I saw a guy walking down the street in Greenwich Village and he just looked like an old English rocker. And all I could think in his mind all day long, he's just saying, rock and roll, man. All day long. That's the only thing going through his head.
You also did
But Smigel used to do old people.
Yes.
I'm old.
I'm old.
And now
I'm old. And now we're getting old. It's not so funny anymore, is it?
I'm old. I'm old.
Yeah, there's so many little things that we would go into.
So mean to people.
Yeah.
But comedy should have a little bit of.
I do a thing where I'll be driving around. David, you've seen me do. I'm in a car and I'm driving around, and they're just people. Like you're in Manhattan and you're in an Uber, and people are all over the place. And I'll be like, better than him, better than her. I'll be in a car like, and it's a guy who just is constantly making sure that he's better than everyone, and someone else, better than him, and then they're pushing a baby carriage, and I'll go like, better than the kid, better than. Yep, still good. Better than, and like literally, you know.
If anyone else heard it out of context, you'd be a monster.
No, there's so much stuff I do, which is my take on a monster. And then sometimes you can think, is he a monster or is he doing his I hope he's doing his take on a monster.
Yeah.
And I think I am, but who sits in a car and goes better than
him?
And the one thing I did that only you tuned into was the miso soup horse. I used to go, one of my characters was the miso soup horse, and it was a horse that just went, miso soup. And you would laugh, and like every other writer was like, would you fucking shut up? Miso soup. And Bob would have that great laugh, and I'd be like, well, at least he'll be my friend when this is all over. I got to watch. You came out with Nobody, and one thing I would not have guessed. If you had told me, okay, I meet this guy, Bob Odenkirk, and Future Man came to me and said, let me tell you about Bob in the future. He's going to be on Broadway. He's going to be Tony nominated. I'd be like, yeah, that tracks. I can see all of that happening. He's going to have a sketch comedy show that becomes the formative sketch comedy show for a lot of people, along with David Cross, called Mr. Show. I'd say like, yep, tracks. He's going to be an action star. I would say, I like you, Future Man, but clearly you have a brain tumor. And when Nobody came out, I was like, oh, I got to, because you told me about Nobody before it came out. And you said, Conan, there's something I want you to see. There's something I want you to see. You're gonna, and you said, there's something I'm doing now that I think is going to surprise you. And I was like, whatever. I didn't know what you were talking about. And Nobody came out. Fine. And when it came out, I was just, oh, he's so good at this. And the bus scene was this thing that really got me, where you get beat up and thrown off the bus.
Yes.
And then I think I don't know if you take a belt off and you tie it around and you get back on the bus.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is tapping into something that's always in Bob.
Yeah.
There is
rage.
There's a rage, there's a determination, there's a we were all at one point low men on the totem pole at SNL.
Yeah.
And there was and feeling like we don't belong, or maybe feeling like we're not going to last.
A chip on my shoulder.
Yeah. And chocolate chip. But I see it, and then I think, but what's amazing is this role came along when you're completely established as a great actor. So you've got that part, and then you're kicking ass, and there's a rage, and I saw Nobody 2 and really loved it.
You saw it?
I saw it.
Yeah. How did you see it? Because
They
I'm
have
sure they've been very protective of it.
Oh, they are really protective. They sent me a link. I was trying to watch the link, and it wasn't letting me, and clicking on it. And there's all these codes you have to put in, and it's like getting into the Pentagon. I feel like I'm trying to access nuclear weapons. But anyway, long story short, I finally get in with a lot of help from young people who know how the internet works and how computers work.
Yeah. And they know the whole alphabet.
Oh, that was low. Just because I'm an ape, I don't know the alphabet. An Irish ape. When Bob sees me, he sees one of those immigrant cartoons of a dirty Irishman from 1870 who looks like a giant gorilla, but has like red mutton chops.
This is why I was nervous about the podcast, is because I thought you just make me laugh for an hour, and I would. That's all that people would see is Bob is a gibbering, giddy.
No, you've
gibbling fool. Is that a word? Gibbling.
It is.
I'm
now.
a gibbling
I think it's
fool.
a gibbling. You're a gibbling
but
fool.
I honestly, Conan, you make me laugh so hard, and it's such silly stuff. And I have to say, the thing that I'll never forget laughing so hard at is the impersonation of the alien from the movie. Oh, Enemy Mine.
Enemy Mine.
Yes.
And
it was 2 a.m. I probably ate too much, Thai food, so I had some kind of sugar rush.
SNL.
2 a.m., 3 a.m.
Lou Gossett Jr.'s in the movie, along with...
This had nothing to do with the Dennis Quaid.
And Dennis Quaid.
This had nothing to do with who was hosting the show.
No, it wasn't
anything to do with anything.
No one was hosting the show
at all. In fact, the movie wasn't even recent.
Yeah.
And you started doing the alien.
The pregnant Dennis Quaid. I mean, the pregnant Lou Gossett
Jr.
And he's an alien who you've seen is evil, but then you realize that his species can have a baby, which comes late in the thing.
This is real, because I never saw the movie.
This is real. And then there's this part where he's gone from like vicious monster and he's gone from like the monster in Terminator, not Terminator, but Predator, to suddenly it's as if at the end of Predator the monster is like and rubbing its very pregnant belly and making very maternal faces, and it blew my brain. And all I could do was, I mean, we had work to do.
Yeah.
And you and I are howling because I'm rubbing my belly and making...
I'm with child.
I'm with child. And which may not even be... I don't think it's even in the movie, I'm with child, because no alien would know that saying.
That was in the movie. That would be the
I don't know. But anyway, to fans of Enemy Mine, I'm sorry.
Writing that in and then people being like, this one line... I think we might be pushing it.
We got to tweak
I'm
it.
with child. Does he need to keep saying that? He says it 12 times.
Yeah,
I mean,
this really cool, vicious alien is like, I'm doing Kegels. I have a cream I rub for stretch marks. I'm eating for two. I have to eat 2 human skulls. Burp. But the point I want to make about which is really fun, is I love the Nobody movies. I love the second one.
Or The Rage.
Well, I like
talking about
when
Odenkirk's
you access
Rage.
But you know what? You're able to access that. It's your nuclear.
It's the only gift my father gave me.
Is that true?
At some level, yeah.
You had a very...
Well, my dad was funny, but not in the way I am. He was funny in a... He was good with a line, like a jokey line.
But you had a complicated relationship with him.
Well, we had a distant relationship. It was more like a pen pal who never wrote to me, and I never wrote back.
No.
But no, he was seriously. He was able to go from 0 to 80 in like 2 seconds,
right?
And I think I can do that, and it actually lends itself to acting and all kinds of things. And
right.
It's kind of a. I said to David Carr, the great journalist, once he had come to see Better Call Saul. And he was watching a scene, and afterwards he said to me, I don't know how you do that. And I said, I know how I do it. He goes, oh, yeah? How do you do it? And I go, I have poor emotional boundaries.
You're being honest, but it's funny, too.
Yeah, but it's kind of true, and it is actually kind of true of not all actors, but a lot of actors who are able to, can't help but slip between sort of emotional responses that are maybe a little too intense. And you could say that that's a wonderful skill that they're putting on display, and it's shocking and surprising, and it grabs you and it involves you, and then of course in real life it can be very bad and not healthy, and really be a sign of poor health, mental health. But
well, I have to go from that to this, which is in 2021. I remember where I was, but someone came in the room and they said Bob Odenkirk had a heart attack. And I mean, I'm always hearing about people I know tangentially through this business who've fallen sick or something, but I had a real response of, I know Bob. This is really upsetting and horrifying. And initially, I couldn't get a read on, are you gone? I started to hear this is really serious.
Yeah.
And then I know your brother Bill, who's hilarious. And Bill, love you. And shout out to Bill Odenkirk. And I got in touch with Bill, and he told me, we think he's going to be okay, but it was bad. And I was turned out that you were completely out. You were out.
Yeah. It's a weird thing that happened. And so one of the tributaries to the Widowmaker got completely blocked, and I went out.
Were you in the middle of a scene, or
no? We were in a break, and it was during COVID shooting, so we were separate from the crew. And luckily, I didn't go to my trailer. If I'd gone to my trailer, I wouldn't be here, because they don't bother you when they knock. They wait for up to an hour.
Right.
You know, who takes an hour to masturbate?
You know, when I've had my heart attacks, it was just masturbating. That's what I was doing. Yeah, all my heart attacks happened while masturbating.
But I sat, where we were sitting. Ray and Patrick were right there. I've told this story too many times.
Yeah, but it's okay.
And this thing happened, and I went down. I turned gray right away, and did worse. What your body does when it stops going, nothing matters anymore.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And I was just gone. And Ray held my head up off the cement, and they started screaming, but people were far away because of COVID. Right. So the crew later told me, we thought they were laughing. We thought, they're laughing very loudly at something. It took a few seconds to realize people were screaming. And luckily, we were at the studio, and our medical officer was there, Rosa Estrada, and she came out of her office. She'd done 2 tours with the Army.
Wow. She
immediately did CPR properly, really well, broke my ribs. And the medical officer of the show, the medic, was there too, but he kind of froze up.
Yeah.
He was very freaked out.
Yeah.
And later apologized to me.
Yeah.
But he then also helped out, and they all switched off. Essentially, they weren't able to get an AED for 15 minutes. So because CPR was done so well, and because they also had that breathing mask, those 2 things, as well as my training for nobody, which made some of the other veins to my heart larger, sort of enlarged, like bigger than you would normally see, because I did so much training. That meant that blood was able to get to my heart.
You're getting oxygenated blood to your brain.
And my heart.
Yeah.
So the heart starts to die right away, right? It starts to scar up and die. But because those other veins were feeding blood through my heart, the heart didn't scar up. So my heart has almost no scarring at all.
That's fantastic, yeah.
For 15 minutes of just people doing this. And then they had the AED, and it took 3 hits for the AED to work, which is a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of super scary. And that's where some of the fear and the real, well, everything about it was really scary. And in fact, Tony Dalton, who played Lalo and his good friend, he was there. They were all there. Everybody gathered around, and he said, I saw a guy die from a heart attack. He at an airport, and same exact thing as what I saw it again. I'm like, well, he's dead. This guy's over. And so it was the 3 AED hits that also super freaked people out, because that AED device does a thing. It talks. It says, no heartbeat detected, step away from the body, 10, 9, 8, 7, down to 1, and then it shoots, and then your body jumps off the ground, and then there's like some recoup moment, and then it goes, no heartbeat detected, and so they also check you. Then it's a step away from the body because you can't be near it, right? You can't be touching it or you'll get shocked. And so the fact that had to be done 3 times made everyone feel that this thing was maybe
not working.
Yeah. And so then we were very far from a fire station. I'm going to tell this story. I've told it too many times. I apologize. Just go to the next clip.
No one heard the other times. This is the first time. We're the first time. I mean,
it
people
took
really
25 minutes for the ambulance to get there.
Yeah, Jesus.
And then, well, they were far. And then they took me to a great hospital, Presbyterian in Albuquerque. And then at 5 a.m. in the next morning, I think they put me in a coma. I think they put me in a stasis state. And then at 5 a.m. they went in through here, which you can't even see that scar anymore.
You went in through your wrist?
And they went in, pushed it out, cleaned it out, put in 2 stents.
Jesus.
They used just a bristle brush.
That they got at the hardware store. And they don't clean it.
They
don't clean it between procedures.
I told them, it's just sitting on the shelf for months. There's dust on it. Did you wash it? Did you rinse it? Nothing.
They keep it in their glove compartment.
They said we were in a hurry.
Yeah.
I said, well, you were worried about me. And we had other projects. They call us
There's
projects.
a toilet that needed work.
Look, everybody was really scared for all legitimate reasons.
Yep.
I'm super lucky, Conan. CPR was done really well.
Yeah.
3 people switched off, because you can't do it if you're doing it well, you can't do it for more than 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, because you're exhausted.
Right.
So you need someone to hand it off to. So there's 3 people who switched off.
Jesus.
And then this AED device, which every studio there has now, but at the time there was none in any of the studio buildings on the whole lot. But our Rosa had one in the trunk of her car that she had been trying to return to her friend. She had borrowed it, and she had tried to return it, and her friend wasn't home, or it wouldn't have been in her car.
That's just in...
and her car was parked, as those lots are huge, and she had to run and go get it. So it just, so many things happened that were lucky. I have... The stories that my friends told me, Ray, of course, Patrick, Vince, the degree to which I could see how shaken they were from having been there, I kept asking them, tell me the story, because I had no memory at all, nothing. It was just a blank. It was just wake up and I'm leaving the hospital a week later. That's my first memory, is talking to the doctor on my exit interview. So I was there for a week. I was awake the next day at 1:00. But groggy, but I don't have any memory of any of the hospital at all. And I don't have any memory of the whole day that we shot. So we had shot all day. So one of the gifts that it gave me, this is so weird, is for the next couple weeks, I had memory challenges, and a lot at first. Like, I didn't know where I was. I would not be scared at all. I would wake up and be like, well, wow. Honestly, Conan, it was like, it's like, look at this world.
Yeah.
This place is fucking amazing.
Well, this is Sirius XM in New York. And It really isn't. And so, I mean, you're talking about a blade of grass, sunlight,
Yeah.
just life, butterflies. But Sirius XM New York, no.
No.
I don't care if you just came out of a death coma.
It really was, and this happened when my memory came back a little bit more every day. But I didn't wake up the way I do normally, which is whatever I went to bed afraid of, scared about, concerned about.
With
whoosh,
you right away.
Right there. Not to mention my own brain's natural fallback position. What should I be worried about? What should I be worried about?
Yeah.
Literally going down the list. I think this is something I got from my mom. How is this person doing? How is that person doing? What can I do to help this person? What can I do to help somebody in my life who I'm concerned about? And just who should I be worried about right now?
Yeah.
And what should I be worried about? And I just didn't have any of that. The world was a wonderful place. I had people I loved around me. I had a job that I can't believe, a magically wonderful job that I get to do. And that carried with me for months.
Here's the question I have, because I've noticed this. I lived in New York on 9/11, and everybody was on their best behavior after 9/11 in New York City, and it was just a beautiful thing. And you'd go to a restaurant, people said, you've got to go out, you've got to keep the city going. You'd go places, and the person would come over to take your order, and you'd ask them how they're doing, where do they live, and then you'd make them sit down, and they'd join. I mean, it was just this happening, and I think it lasted 5-6 weeks, and then people started bickering, and I just thought, oh, I see, this is what humans revert. Are you able to still access the gratitude, the feeling of
yes, I am.
Good.
Yes, I am. I mean, I think I have to make an effort. But it definitely, especially as my memory came back, because of course, the first thing you're concerned is, well, maybe I'm not going to get it all back, and then I can't act and stuff.
Right.
But I was getting it back a little at a time every day, and I could sense that I'll be okay. But I've got to remember what this state is like. I've got to remember the value of this. This should be a part of your day every day.
Yes.
You should feel this every day at some point. Somehow you should get yourself here, because this is true too. It's true that our world is filled with concern and worry and danger and things you should pay attention and be concerned about. But this also should be something you touch base with as often as you can.
Yeah, I've realized this a bunch of years ago, that humility, gratitude, these words get thrown around a lot, but it's not something you achieve. It's stomach crunches. You've got to, or stretching.
Yeah.
You got to do it every day or every other day, or it doesn't, there's no I feel gratitude, check that off. You've got to just keep going back at it, because human nature and also modern media isn't, I mean, you pick up any device, you turn on the TV, and we are programmed to receive bad news all the time. Right. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But I mean, talk about, you do have a lot to be grateful for in addition to your career. But just if you were looking at your career, I would say, I said this, I heard that people were giving blurbs for your book, your autobiography, which I really loved. And so I wrote on it. I'm hard pressed to think of anyone who's had a more fascinating, unpredictable, great career arc than Bob Odenkirk. And I meant it, because I knew you when you were, you had one jacket, you had that leather jacket and your glasses, and you were very intense.
I was really proud of myself that I could put everything I owned in one bag.
Yes. Well, I remember going to your apartment. We went to your apartment once, and it was super small, as all of our apartments were. And just, you could touch all the walls. You didn't have to move, but you had, I can remember your brown leather jacket, your jeans, your sneakers, your glasses. And I think that's everything you had. And we were hobos, but I look at you now, and I was watching the choreographed fight scenes, which are so great in Nobody.
It's fun to do, and I'm going to tell you, it's the closest to a comedy writer's room.
Yes,
is doing a stunt fight in any of the stunt fights I've done. It's the most like, oh, this is what we did at 2 a.m. First of all, you train the fight, you choreograph the fight, and I did contribute to all these fights. And in fact, the bus fight, so much of that I pitched to start, which is he bangs his head. Mm-hmm. I hit my head in the first 3 moves. I hit my head. I miss. I have to miss somebody, punch and miss.
Because your character has been out of it for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have to degrade as the fight goes. I have to get slower and weaker, not stronger. And I get thrown out of the bus and I go back in.
Yeah.
I have an opportunity to leave. I could walk away. And I don't.
But that's okay, and I'm not going to give anything away, but in Nobody 2, I don't think I'm giving anything away because I've also seen the trailer, and but for reasons that'll become clear when you see the movie, it's organic, but you end up at kind of like an amusement park kind of place. Yeah. And what's fun is that that's where you are, you're with your family, and so all the fights are happening in this environment. I mean, there's a scene that you incorporate whack-a-mole into a Jean-Claude Van Damme fight scene. Right. And it's 2 things. It's really good fight choreography. It's really fun to watch. It's satisfying because the biggest, most important element to me of a fight scene is you really want to hate the dick who's getting beaten up.
Yeah. But part of that was, and it's in the trailer, so I don't think this is a spoiler. When the guy whacks the girl in the back of the head, I said, can you make that just as small as, like even the guy who, let's say the real guy who does that is like, why did I do that? That was dumb. What an asshole. I didn't need to do that. Like he didn't even think about it. He wasn't thinking.
He just swats her on the back of the head.
He's like, get out of here, you guys.
Yeah.
And it's the smallest thing. Even he probably thinks I shouldn't have done that. That was a dick move. But he also, I didn't hurt anyone. Nobody got hurt. Her hat went like this. But you go, fuck no. Because little things like that do happen in your life and you can't do anything about them. You have to walk away from them. But
I know, but what was so smart about that is it's your daughter.
Yeah.
And I think what's really smart about that is it taps into something. If you have kids, and I don't care how old your kids are, they can be little, they can be, 25. If someone's mean to your kid or shoves your kid or does anything to your kid, it awakens something in you. You want to kill that person.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to leave. It's a small thing. You're de-escalating, which you use a lot. Let's de-escalate. You've clearly I don't want to have any trouble. You're leaving, swats your daughter, and it's just this great moment because you're walking out and your wife's saying,
leave.
You leave as, it's your opportunity.
I could leave.
You could leave. And then your wife says, see, there's a look in your eye, which is, I've seen that look back at SNL when they didn't put your sketch on. And you're, I'm going to try and you can see he's not going to let this go. It's your daughter.
Yeah.
And you go back in and clean house but using all the stuff that's in an arcade, which is really fun. And
that guy who gets it with the claw, and I've got these stunt actors are so great.
Yeah.
You see how real he makes that?
Yes.
And the first punch, if you watch how he takes that punch, first of all, there's a thing about he doesn't just clear off. He goes,
yeah.
He's like he's got some strength. He's not just here to take a punch. He's a guy who's like, what just happened?
Right.
Those guys are so good.
Is it as much fun to do that as I think it is?
It is.
Oh,
damn it. You laugh your ass off.
Damn it.
They say cut, everyone laughs. And goes, I can't fucking believe that.
All right, I gotta call you on something because you were on the pod. You were on the pod. Let me say one thing. You were on the pod for, now I feel like I'm in, because your character, Shirley Levine, talks over people. And I'm doing that to you right now, but it's because it's important. When the first Nobody came out, I had you on. I loved it. We had a great interview. And I said at the end, if you ever make another one, you got to put me in it. And you went, yeah. I'm not in it.
Don't be needy.
But I just want to be beaten. I want someone to beat the shit out of me.
Well, we'll do one.
Just can you do a third?
Yes.
And I don't even have to be me.
Action movie.
Just I know, but I mean, when there's Nobody 3 comes out, I just want to put me in clown makeup. It won't be me, and I'll be a small. But I just want someone to beat me to death.
We'll make it happen.
The last thing I'll say about the Nobody franchise that I appreciate is that there are many, like James Bond beats a bunch of people up in a room and then walks into the next scene looking like $1 million. You are a real human who's just fought 10 guys and you've been hit as often as much as you've hit someone. You've taken as many hits as you've given, and you can tell progressively as it goes through. I mean, Wile E. Coyote gets a reset after every scene. He can blow up, and then he walks back in the next scene, and it's a fresh Wile E. Coyote opening the Acme rocket boot, Acme rocket boot box. But you can tell, like, you just take a lot of punishment because you're a real person who's fighting all these people. And
I want to do a scene in the next movie, if there is another, where he goes through a metal detector and his body is
pins.
all
pins. And then you fight all the TSA people. All right, I'm going to have to wrap this up because we have talked and talked.
Well,
and this will be heavily edited.
I just got to say one other thing.
Mm-hmm.
When I was training for Nobody, and I trained for probably, you could say, 3 years. And when I would go do Better Call Saul, I would train for twice a week. But when I was in LA, I would train 3 times a week at the actual stunt gym. And I didn't think the movie was going to get made. But they were offering me free training with this great guy, Daniel Bernhardt, who trained me. And it's like free, I learned about exercise. I didn't know shit about it. And so I'll take that, and then you can call me and say, we're not making the movie. And I'll go, all right, thanks for the free gym hours. And the whole time I'm doing it, I'm thinking about you and Smigel and Sandler and everybody I knew from comedy. And if I were to get to make this movie, and you were to go see it, and Spade, I kept thinking about Spade. I don't know why.
Hey, buddy.
He would go see it and go like, what the fuck?
Yep, that's exactly. And you know what? I had that feeling of it was such a mind blower because it was as if you heard there's this incredibly sensual movie out. It's got really heavy sex scenes and all the women are losing their mind because the guy's so incredible. And you're like, who is it? It's Conan O'Brien. What year? He's 62. Are his eyes still kind of creepy and is his lips still thin? Yes. How's his skin? It's okay. Wait a minute. What? Are his legs disproportionately long to his body? Yeah, but man, the way he goes at it when he takes his shirt off. But only the difference was you completely owned it and it was great. And there's no good for Bob when people are buying movie tickets, especially worldwide. So
I promise you, I thought of you guys often.
Keep us in your head all the time.
When I was exercising and thinking, that's just a reason to be doing this. Is if I could pull it off.
Well, Bob,
that would blow my friends' minds.
Here's how I'll end this. You loom large in my early career as one of the funniest people I ever got to work with. And it was really meaningful to me back then because I was sometimes doing stuff on this frequency that you really appreciated. And I felt like this guy gets it. And I felt like you were doing the same thing. Yeah. And I've told you, I've memorized moves of yours from your first one-man show. Yeah. But Bob, I'm so happy
buddy.
For you.
Thanks for all your...
Also, weirdly, even though I'm proud of you, I know that can sound condescending, but I'm really, I know him and he's killing it. And just seeing you on that Broadway stage last night, watching your movies, watching your stuff. So go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Have a nice day. Have a nice week.
Thank you, buddy.
Bob Odenkirk, Tupac. Peace out. This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Did you know Apple Card's designed to help you pay off your balance faster? with smart payment suggestions. Did you know that, Sona?
I did it.
And because fees don't help you, Apple Card doesn't have any. None. So if your credit card is an Apple Card, maybe it should be. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card issued by Goldman Sachs Bank, USA, Salt Lake City branch. Variable APRs range from 18.24% to 28.49% based on credit worthiness. Rates as of July 1st, 2025. Terms and more at applecard.com. Sona, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, listen, there's a reason I'm talking to you right now, okay?
Oh, God.
Which is, I am in New York,
Yes.
working hard, while you're hardly working. Not funny.
Oh.
And interviewing people, just interviewed Bob Odenkirk, you know?
I love Bob
And-
Odenkirk.
Okay, well, don't say it like you don't like me. And take your hands away from your mouth. What are you doing?
What? You
I
so
feel
you
like your
can't
mom.
see.
Sit
You
up
can
straight.
See, okay, you can see
Yes,
me.
I
I
can
didn't know
see
you
you.
could see me. Okay.
And hello, first of all. How are you, Sona? Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Second of all, let's not waste time on that. Second of all, I'm here in New York and I'm working hard, you know, supposed to hardly working. Funny joke. And
It's not that funny.
I am talking to you because I worry that when I'm away from our home base, when I'm away from the Larchmont, California studios, that you guys are goofing around and you're not towing the line. And so this is a little drop-in to make sure that you're making it happen.
Oh.
But you're still there.
Do you think you keep people in line here? You think that you're like
Yeah.
people get stuff done here in spite of you. I mean, you come in, everyone's like working, you come in and then you just start like saying all these jokes and doing all these bits and everybody has to just stop working and watch you.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be tough when the master of his craft comes in the room and delights a crowd with his magical skills. Must be awful. Oh, shit, here comes Beethoven. Fuck. Oh, no, he's got his piano. What's this? A symphony that will endure for all time? Oh, God. When can I get back on Etsy so I can buy that little leather pouch?
I'm
Sona.
going to say morale is high here. People just seem to be in really good spirits. Eduardo, we're hanging out.
Super productive today.
Since you're not here, can I sit in your chair?
Sure.
Okay.
But wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, she can. Sure. Yeah.
All right. Now we're talking.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. Now, what does it feel like to be? I mean, in a sense, you know, you're now Conan O'Brien. What's it like?
I don't know. I feel a lot more anxious and needy.
Hey, your
I'm
skin's
s-
breaking out.
I'm suddenly filled with self-hate. I don't know what happened to my skin. I just have a hankering for potatoes.
Okay, I think you went too far. This is now hate speech, but hate speech everyone's okay with. People are fine with you going after the Irish. No one cares if you go after the Irish, not even the Irish.
But you guys did that. Like, why is the mascot for Notre Dame like this? Like, ooh, I'll get you. And then there's Lucky Charms.
I'll getcha. I'll punch ya. Yeah, we're ridiculous people, and we know it.
Yeah.
Whereas you are a proud Armenian,
Yes, I am.
and how are your boys doing? I want to ask about them, Mikey and Charlie.
Boys are good. You know, we moved into a new place and they're
Yep.
adjusting. There's a park. There's a pool. They just want to do things.
Yeah.
so we let them do
And
things.
Are you adjusting to your new place?
I am. I like it. It's cool. I know I talked a lot about my parents and how hard it was to live with them, but you know, they let us live with them for over 4 months. And all I
Yeah.
did was complain about them. So it was very
Yeah.
like,
Well,
what?
you're a very ungrateful person. And I say that out of love. I mean, that's one of your better qualities, but you are ungrateful. You're not gracious. And you take things for granted. There's a lot of G's going on here, you know?
Are you having fun in New York? I miss the trips
I
that
am
I used
now.
to take.
This
to,
is
okay.
great. I'm slamming you left and right. All these missiles are landing. I'm ecstatic. I will say I've been having a good time. You've been walking around with me.
I have.
Talk about Conan in Manhattan.
Yeah, you thrive here.
And
And people come up to you left and right. It's selfie central.
It is. I think I've taken 3,000 selfies.
Yeah.
But I don't. As I've always said, I like talking to people. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But it gets very silly because we went and saw Bob Odenkirk's Glengarry Glen Ross last night with Bill Burr, and it was just
I want to see that.
fantastic production, really great. And then in intermission, there's just this line formed to get selfies, and I'm standing there doing selfies for everyone. And I thought I should start, even if I just got $1 for each one. Is that a bad thing to put out there?
I feel like people would talk. I don't think it would go over well.
No one had to have one of those little old-time change makers on me that the ice cream man had in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to monetize it.
Okay.
That's the kind of spirit I'm bringing to selfies.
$1? You think a selfie with you is only worth $1?
I think that's optimistic. I think that's optimistic.
If you could put any price on taking a selfie with you.
I think $1 is aiming high.
You put
yeah.
$1.
You could do a BOGO, buy one, get one free.
Yeah. Did you say there's a term for that? BOGO?
BOGO? Yeah.
God, I
buy
love
one,
what
get
the kids
one.
are doing.
The
You guys are
kids.
amazing. BOGO, Etsy. What's that new thing, internet? It's crazy what's happening.
YOLO.
Sona.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I know about, and FOMO.
Yeah.
YOLO,
So
FOMO,
BOGO, YOLO,
Yeah.
GO-GO,
Yeah.
Jub, Flip Flap, Chip Chop.
Yeah.
How are you, Sona? I'm glad to see you. I do miss you. You know that.
I miss you too. When I see you in New York, I really miss. I think I had like when we kept going to New York, I started getting very like, New York, and now I'm kind of craving it. I miss it a lot.
You
I miss
freaked
going
out
with
the
you.
first-
Yeah.
When you were my assistant before
Freak out.
I saw the light and got David involved. But no, he just knows. He just gets things done. But anyway,
Had my babies.
when first time I took you to New York, you flipped out. You hated it, and because you just weren't used to New York City. You were very uncomfortable there because you're such an LA person.
Yeah.
But the one thing I remember very clearly is you needed to go somewhere, and I said, "Well, just take a cab." And you said, "I can't take a cab. I'll be sitting on a seat that other people have sat on." And I thought, what? What? What are you talking about?
What is this narrative you've weaved in your mind? I sit on so
You
many
said
seats.
that.
I've interacted
You said
indirectly with so many butts in my life that you think I'm.
this is a clear memory I have. Don't say this didn't happen.
I'm not saying
You didn't want to take a cab.
It didn't happen the way you said. First of all, cabs aren't gross. Like they're gross. But I take like lifts all the time, and I don't have a problem with that. I think
so.
that
What
the
was
city,
your beef with New York cabs?
It's over. I mean, they're gross. They're like dirty. But at the same time, I think that you're making it seem like I'm like prissy, like, oh, I can't sit there. I guess to a certain extent, there was a lot of like, I don't like cabs. But I think that there was.
But you say that's improved now. You're better. You're over it. You're fine now.
Kind of, yeah. But I think that I got
still
overwhelmed when I would go to New York. Like it was overwhelming. It's an overwhelming city. And then when you're like me and you just want to go out and do stuff and you don't know what to do and you decide to just stay in your hotel, you feel like you're missing out on everything. And it just.
I think it also, not only in New York, which is an overwhelming city, but you're with Conan O'Brien, a beloved figure. And I think that was overwhelming for you as well. I mean, Conan,
Nope, not that.
I want to sleep with you.
Oh,
there
God,
he is.
what?
Remember?
You think,
People
do I remember random people coming to you and just saying like,
Conan,
I want to
you're
sleep
with me all the
you.
time. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And, I had a sex dream about you just an hour ago and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That kind of thing. Whatever.
Never heard anyone say
just
that.
people like, I want to give you money or
No,
you're
it
a
was-
Christ-like figure.
It was more like,
I
can we
worship
take a
you.
picture? And you'd be like, yeah, sure. And then you'd be like, do you need anything else? They're like, no, I gotta go.
That is so me. Is there anything I can do for you? I could write you a check.
Why don't you join me? Let's sit down and have a drink. And they're like, I just wanted a picture.
Okay. Now you're making me seem needy, and that's as crazy as you being someone who's a germaphobe. Okay. Sona, I checked in on you. I miss you.
I know. I
give
miss
my
you too.
love to Tack and your lovely boys. Do they still like their Uncle Coco?
They love Uncle Coco. They talk about you all the time. Did I ever tell you I showed them like, I sent you a video. You sent them a video back, which I had to play with for them like 150 times. And after I did it, one of them, I think it was Mikey, went, Uncle Coco's kind of funny, huh? And I was like, yeah, he is kind of funny. Like, I don't, in their minds, you're just like this funny guy, but they don't realize you've been working.
I was
in
taking
comedy.
a ride. I was back from my college reunion, and I was in Boston, and I was taking I think an Uber, and somewhere, and the driver, is just driving me, not really paying attention. And I always chat with the people, so I'm chatting back and forth. And then I made kind of a joke, and the guy laughed, and he said, "You have a sense of humor." He's from another country. He's learning the language. You have a sense of humor. And I was like, whoa, still got it. All right, Sona, be well, and I'll be checking in with you in about 20 minutes.
Okay, I'm excited. I like sitting in your chair. Maybe you can sit in my chair from now on, and I'll just sit in yours. It's like first
Getting
chair.
used to
in
other
the
people's chairs.
seat.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Butts.
Your fear. Okay, don't say butts.
Oh,
Come on.
sorry. Butts. Lots of butts sat in all these
Okay,
chairs, and I'm fine sitting
let's
in
go
them.
up.
So, I guess
Okay,
I
all
proved
right.
you wrong.
I got to go. Beethoven out. I got to get my
God,
piano out of
you're
here.
Not Beethoven.
You'll see. Beethoven the dog from the movies. All right. I'll talk to you later, Sona. Bye.
Bye.
There's so many people out there that would look at you right now, coming out with this movie and having the career that you have, that would say, okay, Billy, how do I get where you are? How do I achieve what you've achieved? And one of the things that you've done that I'm a big believer is that you took control. There's so many people that say, well, I'm just going to put myself out there as an actor, and I'm going to put my headshot out there, and I'm going to go to auditions. And it's a very passive way to approach this business. And I was always comfortable with anything that where I could use some of my abilities to control the situation a little bit, as a writer, as someone who could think of something for myself. And I look at you and I think you, with Billy on the Street, and because you existed at a time of, social media, YouTube, you were able to create something yourself that gave you all these other opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I started out, I went to Northwestern. I was a theater major. I just wanted to be kind of a typical actor. I never even thought of myself as a writer or a comedian. Then I got to New York. I grew up in New York, and then after college, went back to New York to start my career, quote unquote. And, there's millions of people trying to be actors. And I realized very early on that if I just stood in line waiting at this open call with hundreds of other actors for like the regional tour of Brigadoon or whatever it was, which I didn't even want to do. Although shout out to everyone in the cast of the regional tour of Brigadoon. They're wonderful.
I don't want to do what you're doing, but shout out.
Yeah.
I find the way you've spent your life a waste of time.
That's not
But
what I
here's
said.
your props.
That is not what I said. But it's just not what I wanted to do.
Yes, yeah.
And
A never-ending purgatory. No, I'm kidding. Please, this is on me now, not on you.
No, seriously, I love the current touring cast of Brigadoon. No, I don't know if that's even touring right now. But I'm not here to talk about Brigadoon.
Let me get this straight. So Billy's new movie is called Brigadoon. It's about a magical land. Wait a minute, I got that wrong.
So I basically started to write for myself, and I was good at it. And I had a live stage show that I did in New York, which is where the Billy on the Street videos started. I would show those videos on a screen. This is before YouTube even existed. This is like 2004, 2005. But then an interesting thing happened where a lot of folks in the industry would come and they would acknowledge that I was talented, or that they thought I was funny, that the audience was laughing a lot, that I was unique, and this, that, and the other thing. But it was always, we don't know what to do with you.
Right.
Or you're very New York. And a lot of times in both overt ways and subtle ways, I was sent the message that I was just too gay.
Yeah.
Right? I was being openly gay on stage. I was talking about gay sex. Now everyone's talking about gay sex.
Right.
But this is 2003, right?
This is back when you were losing roles to dinosaurs.
Exactly. Dinosaurs were fucking on screen, but I wasn't allowed to. Okay.
Brontosaurus on Stegosaurus was fine.
Yeah, that was fine. A lot of fanboys jerking off to that. but two actual humans having sex who happen to be men was alienating. So that message was sent to me many times. But then what happened was the internet came along and I put my videos online, and after a little while they went viral and very viral. And I was able to point to all of those people in the industry and say, hey, I'm not to this or to that. This video has millions of views.
Right.
These views aren't coming exclusively from gay people watching in New York City. Look at the comments. They're coming from all over the country and all over the world. And that's when they finally put me on TV. I needed those numbers to point to and say, hey, I have proof that I am not this little niche thing that you assume I am because I'm gay.
Do you ever think about, let's say somehow there's a wrinkle in time and you're born in the 30s or whatever, you come of age in the 40s or 1950s and you have all the talent and ability you have now, but there's no internet, there's no there's no YouTube, there's no way to you yourself take control. Do you know what you would have become?
I don't know. You know, I think about that all the time, and you know, it's just, and that weighed really heavily on me during the movie. And if you see the movie, I don't want to give it away, but I do speak to this at one point. You know, I'm 43 years old. So when the movie comes out, I'll be 44. So I'm kind of in this interesting midway point between a generation of LGBTQ people and gay men specifically who really saw the world change. Like when they grew up, it was such a repressed time. A lot of them probably can't even imagine the world that we live in today. You know, even though there are still problems and we're still fighting for our rights still, the evolution that has occurred is really remarkable, right? They lived through the AIDS epidemic. There's a lot to unpack there. Then you have a younger generation now, and you see them all over the place, of LGBTQ people and Gen Z queer kids, which is amazing. But they stepped into such a different world, such an evolved, accepting world. And again, a world where, thanks to Clarence Thomas and other like fucked up homophobic, you know, self-loathing weirdos, like we're still fighting for our rights and our rights are still very fragile. But again, that generation, a lot to do with the internet, you know, came of age in a time when, you know, things were, if not easy, a lot easier. And I'm kind of weirdly perched in between these two generations that have had a very different experience being LGBTQ. And I wanted the movie to speak to that in a way, because we need to acknowledge, and by the way, I'm making the movie sound like fucking, you know, Out of Africa or something. Like, it's like, it sounds so fucking serious. This is a funny Judd Apatow movie, everybody. It's dinosaurs, it's Sonic the Hedgehog, it's everything you want it to be. But just speaking about it seriously for a moment, because it is a historic movie, you know, you do have to acknowledge those generations of people, and Hollywood, especially, an industry which has so often patted itself on the back for being progressive and gay-friendly, quote unquote. You know, it's a cliche to say that like everyone in Hollywood is gay, you know, that it's this progressive lefty, you know, culture. But really, when you look at the actual history of it, just voting for a Democrat doesn't mean that you are treating LGBTQ people correctly on the day-to-day. And what you see in Hollywood are generations of actors who were stuck with one of two choices: be incredibly bold and come out of the closet publicly and have your professional dreams disappear. Because Hollywood did not give opportunities to people. They did not believe gay could play straight. They did not believe gay people that the majority of the audience wanted to see gay people at all. They made people uncomfortable. If you did get a role, it was horribly stereotypical. You were the butt of the joke, and that was for many years the best you were going to do.
Right.
Or you had to live some Rock Hudson style life, where if you wanted a big career as a movie star or TV star, especially if you wanted to play straight roles, which were the only roles that really existed at the time, you had to live this weird double life. Pretend you were dating women publicly and then secretly live your secret gay life that you were not supposed to talk about. You know, that you could go live in some weird gay enclave somewhere when no one was looking, when the cameras weren't on. And I can only imagine that's the best those guys could do. That's what they were offered. Like, those were their choices. But what horrible choices to have to make.
Yeah.
Right. And now I don't have to make those choices. Right. And Bros is really a moment to celebrate the fact that we have come a really long way, that the entire movie is made up of openly LGBTQ actors, the entire cast. It's a first. This movie is a first in many ways, and that's one of them. And that's when you look at the history of it, you know, a 20-year-old queer kid now who may not know the history may say, oh, all right, well, I see gay people everywhere. They're all over my phone. They're all over TV. But if you know the history of Hollywood, especially major studio filmmaking, that is huge. That is a huge moment.
It's very hard. I mean, and also I think you're making the point, and I would agree that it's impossible to expect someone who's 20 or 22 today to completely understand, because they just haven't lived it.
Yeah.
But so much has changed. You know, I'm a good deal older than you, and I've just watched there be such a evolution in how people talk about, you know, not just the LGBTQ community, but race, class. So many things have evolved, and it doesn't mean we did it. Let's all high five each other. We're done. It has to keep going.
Right.
We have to keep. But it is a positive in a world of negativity. It is a positive perspective to have.
Yeah.
That these things have changed, and young people, you know, today maybe they can be impatient for it should be better than it is right away. And I understand that. And maybe that's really important. That's the rocket fuel. It's like, okay, you guys think this is, you know, look how far we've come. I don't care about that because I'm 22 and I think this is the least of where we should be.
Yeah.
Which is probably the right perspective.
I do get inspired by that generation, though, because I always thought I was very bold and outspoken. But they really push the boundaries, especially when it comes to sex and being very open about it, and queer sex and gay sex. And I sometimes see what's posted on Instagram from my younger gay friends, and I'm like, wow. Okay.
Oh, so suddenly you're the old school marm.
No, exactly. No, I'm like,
I don't think that's appropriate at all.
I'm like Mrs. Garrett all of a sudden. And they're like Tootie and Natalie running wild on roller skates throughout the house. And I'm like, girls, I don't know if this is okay. But it is okay.
You're the modern Mrs. Garrett. I love it. I've always wondered, what is Billy?
Yes.
You're the Mrs. Garrett of our
nails
time.
it.
You
Yeah.
nailed it.
R.I.P. Charlotte Ray. We both went to Northwestern, by the way. And if only Mrs. Garrett were alive to see Bros, put that on the poster. But no, the younger kids, the younger queer kids are inspiring me. It's like, okay, we can have a few sex scenes in Bros, and people will embrace that, and it's actually really fun and exciting, and it's okay. We don't have to be scared of that anymore. And I'm happy. I need that push from that generation myself a little bit.